Hi lovers, welcome back to my channel. I just ended up doing something dramatic. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, you're welcome. My name is Mide Nancy. Someone asked me recently, like, why do you call yourself Nancy? You don't even live in Nancy, Metz. There's a city in France that's called Nancy, and I'm like, Nancy is my name. Has my English name. It's a little bit rare, but thank you so much for coming to the channel today. Today's video is going to be about comparing my first year as an English assistant in France and my second year as an English assistant in France, and giving you possible hints and ideas on how maybe your year as an assistant is gonna be. I mean, for new assistants. And even if you're not an assistant here, but if you are hoping that you want to maybe come for the English assistant program in France, you can have like an insight on what to expect and how it's gonna go and stuff like that. So let's jump right into the video. In October 2020, yeah, during COVID, I traveled out of Nigeria into France to be an English assistant. Of course, it was difficult because it was COVID period. So I was posted to Hasbrook. Hasbrook is a village. It's actually, they call it a city, but it's a small city. So we just say village, kind of, in the north of France, it's under the old region of Lille, because when you want to come to France to be an assistant, you get the opportunity of choosing 3 regions. Of course, they give you options, like for the zone A you have a list of regions, zone B you have a list of regions, and zone C you have a list of regions. Of course, I didn't know anything about France, and then I asked one of my lecturers in school that could you give me like options of where to choose, anywhere except Paris, because I don't like big cities. I don't like things that glitter. Of course, I know that Paris is like glamorous and it's gonna be a big deal living in Paris, trying to survive on the pay and everything. Like, I just want somewhere that is not so loud. So I told him to give me options, and he was like, okay, that he knows. He mentioned the cities he knows and stuff like that, and just maybe I can choose this and that. So basically, I had no idea. I browsed on these cities. I'm like, I didn't think of anything. I just said, okay, let me just put something. So the first place I put Limoges. It's a region, because I chose that place only because it was in the application form that it's possible you get cheap housing or even free housing in Limoges. I put Limoges, and then the next one I put Montpellier. Montpellier is in the south of France. I've never been there. I wish to visit there soon. It's really beautiful according to like people's pictures and what they always say about Montpellier. I didn't even know it was that beautiful. So I think I saw like it had beaches or something, and I really love going to the beach. So I chose Montpellier as my second option, and then the third option I put Lille. The Lille is even weird because I don't even know why I put Lille in my third option. It's the north. I don't even know I didn't know anything about this city. I just chose Lille, and they get to give you one of your options. And so when they chose me to be an assistant, I was posted to the region Lille, my third option. One thing you must know, it's not just about choosing the regions. When you choose the regions, they are now like cities, villages, and so many things like neighboring towns and stuff like that. So you can be in any of those you can be in any of those small cities, towns, villages in that whole region. So I was posted to Hasbrook. I didn't know anything about Hasbrook. I just journeyed to Hasbrook. Okay, yeah, I had contact with one of my teachers like beforehand, and she told me, my prof referent, that's my supervisor kind of. So she told me about the city. It's not a big city, blah blah blah. So I went there. So I had my first year there, and my second year I had it in Roubaix. I was posted to Roubaix. also under the Lille region. So when I was reapplying for like a renewal of contract for my second year as an assistant, I chose, my first choice was now Lille. Not because I loved Lille, I just felt like, I'm already used to this Lille, and it was Lille is really cold, like really cold, and I'm not so good with cold, but now I'm like a pro. I can't even believe myself, like when everyone is like wearing big coats and stuff like that, I'll just dress down, like maybe I'll wear something sleeveless or something. I'm like, it's okay, I'm used to it. So anyways, I put Lille as my first option, and then my second option, I think I put I can't even remember, maybe Strasbourg. I can't remember, maybe Strasbourg or Poitiers. And then the third option, I just put indifferent. By the time they renewed my contract, I was posted back to Lille, and then I was put in another city. This one is closer to Lille than Hasbrook. So the city is called Roubaix, and it's like just by metro. Metro is train, like train, yeah. By metro it's about 20-25 minutes from Lille city center. So I'm just gonna say I was in the city. I don't want this video to be long, so my first year I was in a village. My second year I was in the city, not a big city like Paris or even the Lille city center. Like Lille is a big place, but Roubaix is even less than Lille. The old glamour of Lille wasn't really in Roubaix, which was perfect. So that's the first difference between my first year as an assistant and my second year as an assistant. Okay, so now diving into like advantages, disadvantages, and things like that. My first year as an assistant, it was great because I got a free accommodation inside my school. I mean, that's like the best news that anyone can have. Like, oh, I just got the message like, you're coming to our school, I'm your supervisor, and then you have an accommodation in the school that is normally free, but I don't know if this year it's not gonna be free. But here are pictures of the accommodation. I'm like, oh my god, traveling to a country and then everything's already settled. You're already like, it was just like it was prepared for me. So it was perfect, going without having to, a newcomer. I didn't have to like think about, oh, how the landlords like hacks here, how do I get accommodation, do I commute from a bigger city. I was living in my school. It was good for my first time in France. It was perfect. I didn't need the loud, and it was during COVID, so it's worked to my advantage because COVID, the stores were closed, restaurants were closed, nothing basically. So being in a village, it just didn't make a difference from those that are in cities and obviously were confined to like, go to work and go back home, go to work and go back home. So that was everyone's schedule. So it was okay for me. I didn't have a problem with that. Of course, sometimes it was boring. You cannot, even though it was COVID, like if you are in Paris, you can take a walk. If you are in Montpellier, you can go to the beach side and just sit there with your mask. You can visit places, gardens, you can. So of course, sometimes it was boring and I only had my housemates to talk to. So just both of us were assistants in the whole village. So we didn't have other assistants in other places, they had groups, smaller groups, WhatsApp groups that they always communicated. Guys, let's have a joint lunch this evening. They meet. Okay, is anyone up for coffee? They try to meet up, and I just didn't have that opportunity because I only had my housemate as an assistant. Compared to this year as an assistant, my second year as an assistant, I was in a bigger city, obviously bigger than that, but not as big as big city. I was in a bigger city, no accommodation. It took me about 1 month and a couple of weeks or days to find an accommodation. If you have not watched those videos, you can go back and watch my house hunting video, house tour, and everything like that. It took me a long time to get accommodation in this bigger city, so of course I had to move from one person's house to the other, which wasn't there last year. I just came and I moved in. The house was perfect, furnished. I paid nothing. So this year I had to like think of, from my salary I'll have to like pay half of it for rent and per month, which was obviously I had no choice. So that's another like advantage of last year, disadvantage of this year. But everything works together for good, because I think that last year I just needed to save money. My first year was also better because I had the opportunity to save money, and this money, like I used it for exams, international exams I knew that I needed. I paid for like courses. I did a lot of things I needed money. I lost money. Even I lost my phone, spoiled, like my phone broke, fell from my window down to the floor of like 3 or 4 story. So my phone shattered into pieces. I had to get a new phone. I used money for so many things. So it was great that I was not paying rent. So using money to buy these things wasn't really like I went broke or it killed me. Do you understand? And I was able to like save enough money that was okay for me to be able to come back for my second year. I don't know if that makes sense, because normally before you come to France, there is an amount that is like expected of you to have to be an assistant. Like there's an amount that they encourage that you should have, because if you don't have that amount, you could get stranded. You could, have to start begging for money, not on the street, of course, but from your colleagues and stuff like that. So my first year as an assistant, my parents obviously sponsored everything. They were the ones that provided the money. And luckily my parents did not ask for the money, because if my parents wanted that money back, I was as good as broke. So the money I was able to save up from my first year was enough for me to come back to France with it, and use it to settle like my first month in France, because I didn't have an accommodation. I had to like feed. Sometimes I buy food outside, and also like rent, deposit for rent, because even before you move into any house you have to pay a deposit. And then it was just a lot of expenses, and I had to like use the money I had saved from my first year. I had to use it to cover up all those things. So I think that was perfect, that my first year was free. And then my second year was nothing close to free, because I had to pay for my rent. I had to pay different type of things. Good, I was living just some minutes away from my school, but still I had to like make transport card, because to go to other parts of the city, to go to different places. And so that's another one. And next comparison I'm going to say was that my first year as an assistant, I was much more like busy, because I was in 2 schools, a college and a lycée. College is like junior secondary school, and lycée is high school, like senior secondary school. So I was in a college and lycée, so I was so busy. College, and my timetable was just like every day, and I think I was only free on Wednesdays. I only had Wednesday afternoons or so it was, my timetable was just everywhere. I remember sometimes like I have a morning class, and then I go back to my room and just rest and go back for afternoon classes. Like I had classes like every day, but breaks in between and everything. I didn't really have time to do many things, though I still did other things that I wanted. But this year as an assistant, I was just in one school, an high school. It was a more matured audience, and it was not as difficult to teach them, to explain things to them, except of course those that had like very, very weak level in English. But compared to like my last year, I had like college, which is like junior secondary school, and they are not like very good in English. So I had to do lots of presentations and lots of PowerPoints stuff, download lots of documents and print and do so many things to teach them. But also this new year, all my like PowerPoints and stuff from last year, I had them. So any of the teachers that asked for something related to something I had done the first year, I just modified it and changed and just used the same PowerPoint, so I didn't have to like do a new one and everything. And that first year I had to learn how to make PowerPoint. So this year I'm already very good. It was really not a problem for me. So I mean, this time I had enough time for myself. I had like 2 days or 3 days free, because all all the classes I had to teach were like on one day, and small on one day. So I had like so much free time to do other things that I enjoy. I registered at the gym. If you've not watched my gym, come to the gym with me video, you can go and watch it too. I registered at the gym. I did, lots of things that last year I would have loved to do if I had the chance, but I didn't have the chance. I visited places in the city, of course no COVID. There's still COVID, but the restrictions were already lifted. So I had like more freedom to do things. I had time. Of course I didn't have money like how I did the first time, but this time, I have time, and I had more knowledge like of how things work. So I didn't like lose money, because it's when you feel like you have money that you lose money. But I didn't even lose money. I did not lose money this year at all. Made sure I used money for what I needed it for. Another comparison is that it's not really a comparison, because it's more like the same. It happened in both schools. Okay, last year I had teachers that were nice, like they liked me, I liked them. But other teachers in the school, quite cold, maybe because of the COVID, or I don't know, quite cold. It was just, or maybe it was the first time they were having the Nigerian assistants. Not really. I didn't really feel so much. I don't know. It did, like, I met great teachers. My supervisors, 2 supervisors, and the other teachers I worked with were really nice and welcoming, and I had a great time. With them. I will never deny that. I loved it. But this year was more like another experience that was like so beautiful. I felt so much love, like maybe because COVID restrictions were less, so they were in a more like mental position to like try to know someone and welcome someone and I felt loved, not only by the teachers I worked with, but like even some other teachers in the school. They just liked me. My students were really like open-minded. They were so happy. Even last year I had great students, no doubt about that. But like I felt so much love, even when I was searching for, like when I got here and I was searching for accommodation, like these people literally welcomed me to their houses to stay. Like I didn't pay anything to stay in these people's houses. I have colleagues that stayed in houses of like teachers, and they had to pay a week. So as you're staying in this person's house, you pay so amounts in a week. So I stayed with these people and their family. They opened their doors, their house to me, without thinking of anything, without having any stereotypes or mentality or anything about me. So that was really a big deal to me. And I had like some teachers that were also like young, like 26, 27, 28. It was not like I was like everyone is like old and I'm not the youngest. It was convivial, like friendly. It was so nice, and I enjoyed my stay in my schools. I really cannot remember like another comparison between my last year as an assistant and my second year. I think another thing would be that last year as an assistant I was new. I didn't really know my way around things, like even how to teach students about certain things. I had to like ask, and then so many times I make presentations and like I propose like what I want to do with the students. I have to send it to the teachers before time for them to verify if it's perfect or not. If it's not perfect, they tell me what to do, how to correct it. Like I had to do all those things. But this year I had more freedom, when the teachers just tell me what they are working on. Sometimes they propose to me that, why don't you do this? Sometimes they already have like documents and materials. They just tell me that if I don't want their materials, I can incorporate something new that I have, or I can merge both. They gave me this independent, not freedom, but I had more liberty to like actually communicate with the students with me, like from my within, and it was really beautiful that I had that opportunity, that liberty, and I liked it a lot. So we have come to the end of this video. If you are thinking of coming to France to be an English assistant or something, or even if you were coming for your studies, I realized that many Nigerian students always like Paris. I'm like, okay. Okay, it's good. I'm not discouraging you, but left to me, anything Paris is just, if I want to just go there for an hangout, just to do something in Paris. I don't see Paris as a place I can live, because obviously the standard of living and everything cannot cope. Anyways, I don't know your financial status. Obviously your financial status is high. I believe that with the things I've said, you would have, you get tips of how life is in the village or a small town, and life is in a bigger city, the possibilities that you can attain in a big city that you won't have the opportunity to attain in a village or a small town, and the possibilities and opportunities that you attain in a small town that you will not attain in a big town. Generally, I'm so grateful, I'm super excited that my parcours, my whole like it happened the way it happened. Like first year less noise and stuff, second year higher level, and I like how it was perfect. Yeah, it was perfect, and it really made me excited. Anyways, that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video helped you one way or the other. If yes, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. If you have like further questions that I didn't like talk about or mention, you can leave it in the comment section or send me a message at Nancy, and yeah, I'll try to answer your questions as soon as I see them. And what else? And I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.